Hey there, what's going on, guys? My name is Benjamin, and I am the CEO and founder here at Bolt Deals. And today I have something really exciting to share with you guys. Today, we're going to be revealing to you and pulling back the curtains as to how we scaled one of our clients from zero to $214,000 per month in closed assignment fees in less than 6 weeks. And the reason why I'm so excited about this is simply because of the fact that I have not seen anything like this from any other company, where they're willing to pull back the curtains and show you the exact ads, the exact landing page strategy, as well as the questions that we asked, our talent acquisition frameworks, the data behind it, everything. So today, I think you're in for a very special treat. And as a side note, I've seen some clients have actually asked to see some stuff like this. So I hope you guys get tremendous value out of this. With that said, let's go ahead and go to the computer and dive straight in. Today, we're going to be covering a few things, right? First is the results that we generate, right? The cost, the CPL, cost per appointment, cost per contract, cost per deal, all that good stuff. The context and before state. Where was the client before they worked with us? And the reason why I want to mention this and why I believe it's so important is so you could possibly relate to them. Next is the plan of action. So what was our entire marketing strategy behind it on Facebook, on Google PPC ads, our landing page strategy, the follow-up, everything behind that, the math and the KPIs, right? How we reverse engineer to help the client hit their goals. We're also going to be showing you and sharing our exact plan and strategy on how we plan on scaling them from $200K per month to a consistent $500,000 or $500,000 a month in closed assignment fees. And finally, lessons learned. The reason why I feel this is so important is because everybody thinks running a wholesaling company is rainbows and unicorns, especially when you're doing multiple six figures a month. But I'm here to share with you that is not like that. And if you ask anybody that's been there, done that, I believe that they can say the same. So I want to share this with you. That way you gain the perspective and takeaways without having to get the scar that we went through when it comes to actually scaling. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive straight in. First thing is on the right here, you could see a deal sheet that Chris would actually send us every single month. Specifically, this was for these 6 weeks of all the deals that he had in the pipeline that we've generated, which were through Facebook and PPC ads. So down here, you can see the Google Ads Manager. Let's go through the KPIs, right? Google Ads account, whatever you want to call it. Lead generated is 108. You can see 108 conversions. Cost per lead is 197. Let's just round up and say $200. Conversion rate. And if you don't know what this is, it's basically out of the people that click and land on your landing page, how many of them actually submit and become a lead? For us, it's 17%, 17.3 to be exact. And the reason why I'm so proud of this is because when I speak to our competitors and not only them, but their clients, they're only around a 5 to 10% conversion rate. And what's worse is that they only ask a few qualifying questions, right? They only ask for like address, motivation timeline, maybe property info, but we go deep, right? We ask for all 4 pillars, property information. We actually even try to get them to schedule a call, an appointment with us right then and there on the landing page, right? And again, I'm going to be revealing that to you, showing you the entire thing. Basically, how much we spent in this span was about 21,000 impressions. I don't really care too much about appointments. Out of this, 55% of the leads came in, converted into appointments, which resulted in a cost per appointment of about $353. In my opinion, it's not bad, right? Out of that, contracts generated was 13, right? So if we do the math here, 13 divided by 60 appointments, that means they're converting about 20% of leads, 20% of appointments convert into contracts. Not bad at all, right? Deals closed is 10. So 3 of those deals got terminated for whatever reasons, title issues, whatever the case may be. Average revenue generated is $214,000. Average assignment fee is $21,400, give or take. And this is something that I really want to stress. Return on ad spend is 10.1 ROAS, right? So what this basically means is for every dollar they put in ad spend, they're getting $10.10 out. And the reason why this is so powerful is because it gives us so much margin and room to scale the company, to give our sales team, our acquisitions team commissions and bonuses, etc. That way you could build a culture that everybody wins in. So this is something that is really helpful because most wholesalers that I speak to, they'll be happy with a 3 to 4x ROI or ROAS, and that's okay. It's how you stay profitable, but it never hurts to get more, right? If you're looking at all this and thinking like, hey, this sounds too good to be true, there's actually, and I'll put this link in the description as well, but we actually have a testimonial video from Chris himself where him and his partner at this time will actually tell you that they're closing those deals. He actually has two testimonies now that I think about it. One of them is the one up there, and then there's another one, and I'll put it all in the description. That way you can check it out for yourself if you don't believe me. And another side note that I want to add is because of their marketing spend as well as campaign strategy being so effective, which is as measured by the return on ad spend, we were basically outbidding all of their competitors and always at the top of the bot on Google, pretty much earning all the clicks and leads. And if you're not familiar with PPC or Google ads, if you're on the second page or third page of Google, the chances of you getting a lead are very slim. You're basically burning money, right? So for us, the objective is to always be at the top of Google because that's where everybody looks, right? Another thing I want to add on to that is Facebook. You may be wondering, well, I thought we were talking about PPC, and you're absolutely right. But like I said, because things were going so well, we added on Facebook as a retargeting mechanism to pretty much get low-hanging fruit, right? So as you can see here, in this time, we got almost 70 leads, 69 leads at $80 cost per lead. I'll be diving into a bit more as to why we did this later, but I just wanted to share this with you now. That way you have a good idea of what we were able to achieve before we dive into how we actually achieve it and our reasoning behind the actions that we took in order to achieve these results. With that said, let's dive into their context and experience before working with us, because maybe some of you guys can even relate to this and, share stories, right? Chris already had wholesaling experience before working with us. Matter of fact, he had two companies that he told me that, due to bad partnerships, didn't pan out the way we wanted to. And on a third partnership, things are obviously a lot better. And the reason why I mentioned that is because he did not start from absolute scratch. He was not a beginner when he started working with us, right? He had a foundation. He had the resources. He had the knowledge, expertise to close deals. He just needed a marketing partner, us, in order to help him make it happen. In addition to that, he has had experience with other marketing companies, right? As you can see right here, I asked him before he worked with us over 2 years ago why he decided to actually reach back out to us. And as he says here, your system has been great. I thought about getting out of the wholesaling because I got a good partner. I got systems dialed, rebuilt a team, and so I don't have to be a part of the day-to-day. And the reason why I think this makes a lot of sense is because most wholesalers that are trying to scale it big, they're not doing everything themselves, right? You only have 24 hours a day, and there's only so much work you can do all by yourself. And for Chris, he built a team, a partnership, a COO who could run the company without him, hire acquisition managers to take the leads, close the deals, dispo people to actually sell the deals, TC to make sure it actually gets to the closing table so he doesn't have to. He could focus on high leverage CEO tasks, which is being the CEO. And here he interviewed us, H Media, REI company, and yours seems to be the best. And in my opinion, I think we are, not only because I'm the founder, but because the results say so. If you don't know this already, over the last 4 years, we have clients right now that do anywhere from 2 to 3 deals per month to wholesalers closing 40 plus deals per month, and they're bringing in $500,000 a month or more in closed assignment fees. And in that time, we've also generated a little over $15 million in closed assignment fees. Not just contract, but actually closed assignment fees for our clients. And I think that's really important to mention. So let's go through our plan of action and what we did for him. First thing, let's talk about budget. It's very important. Nobody starts off at 20,000, but this is where he did, right? And this is why I believe he worked so well, or he got the results he did. He spent $20,000 per month, and here are the markets he was in, right? I'm not going to read all this. You could pause it and read it yourself, but the point is he went virtual. And many wholesalers have the misconception that the more markets you're in, the more expensive it gets. But what if I told you it was actually the other way around? Would you go out and expand more markets? That way you can get more leads and more deals? Yes, right? That's exactly what Chris did. And I'll explain this even further. The more markets you go into, the easier it is for the platforms to reach more people, right? Which as a result lowers our CPM, which stands for cost per impressions, cost per 1,000 impressions to be exact, which basically is another metric for how much does it cost to reach 1,000 people. The cheaper it is, the better, right? And then it becomes a domino effect. The cheaper it is to reach 1,000 people, your cost per click will go down, your cost per lead will eventually go down, your cost per appointment goes down, cost per deal goes down, your ROAS then it goes up, right? And that's something that I think is really, really important to understand. When it comes to PPC keyword match type, we only went for phrase and exact match. Our landing page strategy, I want to mention, we built all the landing pages, the funnels, the forms, the surveys for Chris. And the way we did it is through a 3-step funnel strategy, which I'm going to be showing you right here, right now. But here's a little context. The first is the opt-in page. The entire goal, we have 13 questions to get the 4 main pillars and a little bit more: motivation, timeline, property info, asking price, property information, bedroom, bathroom, square footage, repairs, maintenance, etc., and calendar booking page. This is something that I, funny enough, have not seen a lot of people do, but you could take this and take it to the bank, right? We give sellers the option to obviously not only schedule an appointment with the acquisition manager, but we also give them an option to call us directly while they're on the page. Now, obviously, it has call tracking. It's a call tracking number. That way we can track and attribute it back to the landing page and the campaign. But what this does is it creates speed to lead, right? And something that really confuses me is that many wholesalers have it, but they never answer their phone. So for him, sales was not an issue. So we did that, and that spiked contact rates with sellers. So go ahead, run with that, right? If there's nothing you take away from this video, please take that. Now, in addition to running Google ads, Chris and the team wanted to scale lead flow even more, but not double ad spend. So for us, our strategy was to run Facebook ads. We wanted to add Facebook as a platform for retargeting. And the main objective, like I said, is to use Facebook ads as a retargeting campaign to get easy leads to opt in and increase their presence online. I refer to this as omnipresence marketing. So yeah, that's exactly why we did that. Now, let's go to our little flow chart here that gives you, I should say, a better understanding of how our marketing works. Now, it has 5 steps. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I'll go through the stuff that I believe is important, right? The way I break it down is LIDD. A LIDD operating system stands for lead flow, ironclad sales process, talent acquisition, exit strategy, and then data tracking / metrics. Let's start with lead flow because I believe that's what's most important. So when it comes to our marketing, I call it the self-sustaining lead gen funnel, and it breaks down to 3 main pillars. First is top of funnel. Second is middle of funnel. Third is bottom of funnel nurturing. Let's start with top of funnel / cold traffic. And if you don't know what cold traffic is, it basically means people who don't really know who we are yet and are seeing us or our company, our ad, for the first time. So let's dive in. When it comes to our top of funnel, we break it down to 3 main phases of marketing, right? You'll see so many marketing companies, and this is why they suck, in my opinion. They just set it up once and forget about it. That's exactly why they suck. They run something called dynamic campaigns where they just throw a bunch of ads, throw a bunch of ad copy, throw a bunch of headlines into a campaign and let Facebook run its thing. That is room for failure, right? It's good for testing, but when you don't optimize or scale it properly, that's where the trouble begins, right? So let's start with Facebook, and then we'll transition to PPC. When it comes to our Facebook ads, we like to target based off of motivation, right? So right now, if you're on Facebook at all and you're a wholesaler, you'll see a bunch of companies that run like generic we buy houses, cash offer as is ads. And in my opinion, that's basic, it's outdated. And does it work? Sure. To our standards, to my standards, no. So we target motivations, hire landlords, pre-foreclosures. We even have some in regards to people who can't make their mortgage payments, tax delinquents, and things of such, right? In addition, we also have clients that do creative finance. So we have ads specifically towards that, so taking over those payments subject to, and we try to set that expectation up front, and that way people know what they're opting in for. From there, both ads, whether it's Facebook or Google, we push them and funnel them into our landing page, right? And like I said, on our survey opt-in, we get the 4 main pillars and a little bit more information. Property information is obvious, information about their property. And third is the calendar link with the option to schedule a call. As a result, you'll get some leads like this, right? On the left here is pretty much a response from a survey opt-in. And then on the right is property information that they would fill out, right? So they give us all the information here, which I think is really powerful. And the entire goal of this is to generate new motivated sellers who need to sell, not just want to sell, right? The way I refer to it is sellers who are serious and not curious about selling their property. And the second pillar is middle of funnel nurturing / retargeting, right? So we obviously would run ads to target people who have clicked on our landing page but haven't opted in because they're low hanging fruit, right? So why not? So we have custom audiences based off of a pixel that we would have on the landing page. So if you don't know what a pixel is, it's basically a piece of code that we put onto a website that helps with conversion tracking as well as tagging people / creating custom audiences, right? And we would input those custom audiences here to retarget them, like I said, as low-hanging fruit, people who have visited our website or opted in but didn't schedule an appointment, things of that sort. And finally is bottom of funnel nurturing. So the way we do this is through consistent nurture sequences, touch points, / staying in front of them by being omnipresent. We break this down to 3 main channels: text messages, ringless voicemails, and email blasts. We build out all the nurture sequences, all the campaigns for Chris in order for him to stay in front of the sellers. And we do all of this automated. That way, whenever the seller is ready to reach back out to us, we'll be on the top of their mind and they'll reply to our messages or our text blast and we'll take the lead from there. So that entire part right here, this is the lead flow aspect of the system. To understand it, I want to show you our exact ideology and sort of decision-making process throughout this, right? And the reason is because when most real estate investors come to us from other agencies that are running PPC campaigns, one of the biggest things they always complain about, and you are probably complaining about, is the exact same thing, right? The avatar of the lead. They're either a retail seller, they're a normal home buyer who's not in any distress, and they want full market value, 100 or even 150% ARV, which is ridiculous. Sometimes it's a wholesaler, right? It's a silly wholesaler that is a part of a coaching program, and they were taught to JV with people by clicking on their ads and submitting the lead, which is ridiculous. And I think it's really stupid, in my personal opinion. And then third is an unmotivated seller. Similar to a retail seller, they present themselves as if they have motivation and they're willing to sell at a discount. Transparently, they just don't want to. And then the biggest thing I see is that whenever we do audits on clients' accounts like yours or another client who has spoken with us, they always run broad match keywords. And I want to highlight this. Broad match keywords is the lowest intent, bottom of the barrel type of leads when it comes to PPC. And I understand why people do this. It's because it's cheaper, right? The marketing company can run broad match keywords, get $50 leads, and they'll get all the crappy leads at the bottom of the barrel. And then they'll go ahead and blame the client. Hey, you can't close to save your life. And it's freaking ridiculous in my opinion. So we try to stay away from broad match. Actually, as a matter of fact, we always stay away from broad match regardless. And if you're not familiar with what broad match keywords are, it's basically having your ad show up when a homeowner or a lead types in a synonym. If you don't know what a synonym is, it's basically words that are different but have the same meaning. And this to me is by far the biggest issue and biggest constraint that causes poor lead quality. So for us, like I said, we always go for exact or phrase match keyword targeting, which most of the time removes the issue of unmotivated sellers, wholesalers opting in, retail sellers looking to list their property. And like I said earlier, when it comes down to the market targeting, I want to repeat this again because this by far is crucial when it comes to making sure your marketing campaigns perform, especially on Facebook or PPC. The rule of thumb that we have for all of our clients is the more, the better. My tip is to get into a minimum population, get into markets with a minimum population of at least 50,000, if not 150,000 or more, right? And we want to get as many of these as possible. And this helps with lead flow without needing to spend as much. So easiest way to think about it, more bang for your buck, right? But another thing I'm going to add on as a side note to this is don't just add markets just to add markets and get a low cost per lead, because you get all the contracts in the world, but if you don't have buyers in that market or there's no buyer activity in those markets to actually sell the deals to, it's irrelevant. It's useless, right? So go into markets that actually have buyers and has buyer activity. That way, not only can you get properties under contract, but you can actually push it to the closing table. So many wholesalers and marketing agencies tell their clients to go into the boonies, literally with like 3,000 people. And then when the client gets a contract but can't dispo, they are like scratching their head. Why is that happening? Well, it's happening because there's no buyers there. So go into markets that have buyer activity that you can actually sell your deals to. Because otherwise, you're wasting your time. You're wasting the seller's time. They're going to go leave a bad review. And it's definitely going to destroy your inbound marketing efforts. And the reason why that's so, I'm so like stressed out about this, and I'm trying to tell you this, is so you don't make the mistake, right? We get so many wholesalers on a daily basis that tell us that, and it's frustrating. And like I said, I already went through this. And if you want me to go over it again, I will. Biggest misconception is more markets you go into, the more expensive it is. It's not. Go into more markets, but make sure you can actually dispo in those markets, or else you're just wasting your time and money. So that's on the targeting side of the PPC. Let's go to our landing page strategy. When it comes to a landing page strategy, I don't see many investors leverage this type of strategy or this type of funnel / landing page because they have the misconception that it costs too much. And like anything else in the world, it costs too much if you do it wrong, right? You get it. But the way we like to do it is a 3-step funnel process because of the fact that we want to set it up or get it as close to a laydown as possible for the acquisition manager. I think a lot of acquisition managers and sales teams and wholesalers love us is because we value less leads, higher quality leads, which results in less conversations and less clutter in your CRM. Let me ask you this. Would you rather get 50 leads at $20 a pop and close one deal? Or would you rather get 4 leads at $250 a pop and close one deal? Most of the time, you would rather, if you have 2 brain cells, no offense, you would get 4 leads at $250 a pop and close one deal. Why? Because it's less effort, it's less clutter in your pipeline, the conversion rate's a lot higher, et cetera, right? So that's the strategy and that is our mantra, right? Because no acquisition manager, including you, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but nobody wants to go through 50 leads to close a deal. You might as well start cold calling, right? And if you really love talking to leads because that's what you're passionate about and just want to get the volume in, go door knock, right? You'll talk to 100 people, maybe get a deal. Tell me I'm wrong, right? If you like doing that, do it. There's nothing wrong with it, right? But for us and our clients at our higher level, this is what they prefer, quality over quantity. Now, I want to add a few caveats to this. Most investors and other agencies would highly disagree with this strategy because they know it kills lead flow and can somewhat kill off sellers. But the way I look at it is that it's better to have 3 good leads than 30 bad ones. In addition, since this client, Chris, is already established, going the volume route would be a massive disservice and a complete waste of his time. So our goal for the acquisition manager is to get every seller who gets on the phone with them to be almost as a laydown sale and set them up and give them all the context possible about the seller, about the property. That way they can do their due diligence beforehand, run their comps, calculate their offers, whatever the case is, to actually close the deal. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, right? So with that said, I do want to add a few things that I believe you should understand. The client, Chris, had already a solid team of acquisition managers who have been there, done that, right? They're not newbies on the phone. No offense if you are. We all started somewhere, right? They had an ironclad follow-up process and leveraged softwares like InvestorLift to dispo their deals. I personally love InvestorLift. I love clients that use InvestorLift, especially on cartel mode, which is what Chris was on here. And whenever you combine all of this together, it almost becomes inevitable for you to not get results, right? It's like very high success rate. I'm not going to say 100 because nothing's guaranteed, but it increases your odds of success, right? And from our experience, most investors fail with marketing, specifically inbound marketing, because of the fact that they have crappy follow-up. Their follow-up is non-existent, literally. They have poor expectations. They think they can get a deal in their first week. Now, to be fair, Chris did, but when you're a beginner trying to figure things out, probably not, right? In addition, and finally, most investors fail with inbound marketing or fail with wholesaling as a general because of the fact that they give up way too quickly and they lack the ability to take ownership of their results. Do some marketing agencies suck? 100%. I absolutely agree with that. But if you suck at actually closing the deal, not many marketing companies can save you, right? Only you, the founder, you, the business owner, can save your company. Don't ever try to rely on another company or somebody else to save your company. That is simply my personal opinion. If that offends you, I don't know what to tell you, right? With that said, let's talk about our plan and strategy to scale them to $500,000 per month and beyond. So first off, we have to scale lead flow before anything else, right? So one of the other business partners, Cole, has already began the process and plans to simply hire and scale campaigns. And I want to go over how we go about that, talent acquisition, hiring, onboarding, recruiting, etc. in a second here. So to them, we show them our process, and this basically means that they've already brought on 2 acquisition managers to handle all the lead flow that we're generating for them. And once they're maxed out, and we have formulas and algorithms for that. For example, if you know that on a monthly basis, your acquisition managers can handle or take, let's say 5 appointments a day times 30, that's 150 appointments a month. Once you exceed that, then you would need to bring on another acquisition guy. We do that by having a booked ratio, right? For us, we like to have a booked ratio of our acquisition managers of around 85%, no more than that. Reason being is because we actually want our acquisition managers to continually follow up with the people within their pipeline, right? Because if they're 100% booked out. They are probably not going to do any follow-up. And obviously, we all know, you and I both know, the money is in the follow-up, right? As of May of this year, we've already scaled their ad spend to $30,000 per month, which is about $100 a day ad spend. And obviously, we scaled them a little higher now, where they're about $40,000. And within the next quarter, the plan is to scale them to $80,000 to $100,000 per month in ad spend. And here's a screenshot of that right here. That I actually want to share with you our talent acquisition process. So talent acquisition and management, what we do with a lot of our clients and our partners is that we actually license to them our exact acquisition manager hiring ads that I shoot myself, because sometimes, they don't like to be on camera. They're not as good as on camera as, let's say, I am. Not to stroke my ego or anything, but in other words, they just rather prefer somebody else's faces on the ad, right? So we license them the exact ad, the exact funnel landing page to attract acquisition manager applications, the exact processes, the exact playbook to not only onboard, but interview, right? So we have scorecards. So I actually show you that right here. So we give them, what the purpose of this is, the hiring criteria that we have for our clients, the interview scorecard. So what to look for, what competencies, what native geniuses and soft skills, hard skills to look for within an acquisition manager. We give them our entire onboarding and ramping guide to make sure that they are set up for success. Many acquisition managers fail and have high turnover or churn because of the fact that they just weren't onboarded properly. So we built all of this out to ensure that this doesn't happen. We have our lead manager scripts, obviously. We have a offer script, acquisition manager script, which isn't on this one. What to do to prevent burnout, right? How do we prevent burnout in the acquisition manager? Because again, this is a commission-based. Sometimes you can give them a base salary. I don't really prefer that, but we have processes on how to make sure they don't burn out. Beginning, middle, and end of day processes to maximize sales productivity. Every single minute, hour that your sales team is not on the phone, you are losing money. So we want to maximize their sales productivity by almost having their day structured for them. So it's less thinking, more doing. Finally, is consistent sales. How do we ensure that they are consistently producing results, closing deals day in, day out? How do we prevent dry streaks, like I said? Finally, objection handling, right? Nobody likes objections, neither do we. So this is exactly, well, I'm not going to show you everything, but we have our own processes, videos that we go over in order to prevent these objections. That's what this part is, right? We work with clients and show them how to properly hire, train, manage acquisition managers. And if somebody becomes a private client, we almost do it for them. We do the call reviews, role playing, all of that for them. We have people on our team, coaches, who've actually been there, done that, been in the business for over 20 years, built systems and processes for 2/3 of Fortune 500 companies, and much, much more. So with all of that, I actually want to mention the lessons that we've learned from both parties, not only from us as a marketing company, but for him as a client throughout this entire process. And if you thought this entire process was rainbows and unicorns, sorry to disappoint you, but let's dive in. First, cheaper isn't always better, right? Chris has decided to work with other agencies before Bolt Deals, and even though they were cheaper, they were not able to generate any results working with them. Chris made this explicit on our enrollment call and even through our messages earlier in this video. And Chris had made this explicit on our enrollment call when he started that he had learned his lesson when going cheap, and you should too. This is the frame that I want to share with you. Marketing, most of the time, most people can agree, I should say, that marketing is the bloodline of any company. So why would you go cheap on that, right? Why would you cheap out on the most valuable pillar in your company, right? It's never a good idea, but some people think it's okay. Hey, they'll learn the hard way, right? Just make sure you're not one of them. Like I said, marketing is a bloodline. The second lesson is that if everybody does their job correctly, we will all win. Chris here was at one time one of our bigger clients, and what we've noticed is that they needed the least amount of attention and didn't complain about anything at all. Right? Their engagement on check-in calls, their engagement in communication Slack channels were always fun and full of good news, right? They rarely ever brought bad news or complaint at all to us whenever we work together, even though things could always be improved, right? And we would be the first to address those because I believe that we have to be proactive and not let little things like that slip through the cracks. And to me, this was, and I wouldn't share this was the exact definition of the little meme or analogy where the clients that pay the least complain the most, and the clients that pay the most will leave you alone and never bother you, right? Next, more communication is key. They were so busy closing deals that they barely had time to update us, so we were always on the edge trying to figure out whether or not we were doing good or not. And honestly, it was sometimes a good thing, right? It kept us on our edge, right? But when it comes to scaling and optimizing, it becomes a little shaky, right? I always tell our clients this, and for you, if you're a marketing company or if you're working with a marketing company, it never hurts to under communicate. It's always better for us to over communicate than under communicate. That's my personal opinion. That's what we share with all of our clients because we want to make sure that our clients are feeling heard and we're guiding them throughout the entire way. Next, if you want to make more and scale, all you have to do is spend and hire more. There's this rule in business that I've taken and I've shared it with all of our clients where in order to succeed in business, you never stop selling and you never stop recruiting. You never stop closing deals and you never stop hiring people to close those deals, right? We share that with our clients and that's something I believe has helped, right? The key to scaling, like I said, never stop selling, never stop recruiting. Take that to the grave. Lastly, this is a combination of lessons that, like I said, us, the Bolt Deals team, and our client have learned throughout our entire experience together. Now, let's go through our conclusion, right? How you, the viewer, can achieve similar results, right? With the dozens of clients that we have on a monthly basis, this is just one of our case studies, right? I'm going to be excited because we're going to have more of this. Our next one, I'm super excited. I'm even more excited almost. Chris, if you're watching this, we love you. For us, we've learned a lot explicitly working with them and implicitly working with them. And we're super excited to scale them to 500K per month and beyond. And my promise to you is that we will shoot another case study interview, maybe even a podcast style instead of a Loom video. So when we get there, hopefully you'll get the insights out of this and scale your own real estate wholesaling company. With that said, I want to talk about why I wrote this. And it's actually really simple. I want to provide value. It is my mission and goal of this channel to provide value of what's working for our clients, right? We want to give you actionable insights, takeaways, and show you what's working right now. Not shit that worked 3 years ago, what's working right now. And for me, it gives me the opportunity to document exactly what we're doing, the results that we generate that most other agencies cannot provide due to their lack of experience that they have scaling investors like you. In addition, this client was a part of Investor Lift's office hours coaching call as a guest speaker and gave us a massive shout out, which has obviously drastically benefited us. And it would be a disservice to give back and provide insights that most agencies can. So with that said, if you are an established wholesaler, whether you are virtual or you're just targeting a few markets in your state and you're closing a minimum of 2 deals per month, not contracting, but closing, and you want to achieve similar results like Chris, if not better, with inbound marketing, I'd love to offer you a free strategic roadmap or campaign audit where we can learn a little bit more about you and your business, where you're at right now, your constraints that are preventing you from scaling, and help you create a roadmap on how we can help you double or even triple your deal volume. Now, you may be wondering, how do we go about that? So when it comes to data tracking, we obviously, for example, we have Chris's thing right here, but we also want to share with you and work with you on our client ROI calculator. And what this is we would sit down with the client and play around with the numbers. So if you're spending $20,000 a month, let's not even start that high. Let's start with $5,000 a month. Your average assignment fee is, let's just say $18,000. Cost per lead is XYZ and everything else there. We're able to project where your business is going to be at in the next 12 months. So we really want to sit down, get in the numbers, get in the weeds of where your business is at and see if we can actually help you achieve your goals. So if that's worth conversation, feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram, which will be in the description. And I look forward to speaking with you very soon. Again, my name is Benjamin. I'm the CEO and founder here at Bolt Deals, and I'm very excited to speak with you and help you scale your business to the next level. With that said, I hope you have a good rest of your day.